Hey guys, so I'm here today to unbox my books. My new book. Look at this. Nice. 20 of them. Yeah, buddy. 20. The initial drummers. So guys, I just wanted to show you a couple things that were in my new book. Got the dedications page, about the author page, and then here's the table of contents. So here's pretty much everything that's in the book. Chapter 1, starter rudiments, the 2 essential grooves, 3 essential types of fills. This kind of stuff no one really talks about. A lot of these concepts are concepts I've just kind of come up with while I've been teaching. Phrasing grooves and fills, very important. Once you learn grooves and you learn about fills, then you learn how to put them together basically in a musical context. 2 essential 16th note grooves, opening the hi-hat, essential types of meter, and fill systems. So this first chapter is all about getting the student or whoever's reading it engaged in learning, you know, the beginning of groove and the beginning of how fills work and how you can put those 2 things together to create a musical idea, which is basically what drumming is. Chapter 2, intermediate concepts, we have accents and diddles. So what I did with this book was I always started it out with some sort of hands rudiments type thing, because the whole deal with the book is it's an essential perfect blend of rudiments, grooves, and fills. Because normally in books, they're either talking about grooves or they're talking about fills, or it's like a snare book with rudiments in it. So that's what I think is special about this book. The fact that I combine all those 3 things and blend them, I think, very well. So intermediate techniques, we start talking about accents with the hands and diddles, and how to combine those 2 things. And then we start talking about independence, which is kind of like the breaking point for a lot of drummers. They know how to groove, but they don't really know how to break it apart and give it more character. Doubles with the bass, so lots of do-goot kind of stuff, right? Putting 2s on the bass. Ghost notes, so developing the dynamics of keeping smaller notes versus bigger ones, right? Shuffle groove. If you don't know what a shuffle is, that chapter will show you how to play a shuffle groove. Playing in 2, accenting the hi-hat, so more dynamics things. So adding articulations and dynamics into your playing. And linear systems, I thought I'd throw that in there because linear is very, very popular and important nowadays to drummers. It's one of those things, you know, as you go along in your craft, different styles come up over the years, and linear is one of those things where we just can't get away from it nowadays, and it's a good thing. It's one of those things that's really helped drumming, I think, become its own kind of instrument. Advanced Concepts is chapter 3. So you might think it's funny I start out with flams in Advanced Concepts because flams are considered like starter, and I do have them in the starter rudiment section. But the more you think about it, the more like flam taps and flam accents and things of that nature are actually more advanced in the hands. I mean, you're combining accents and you're combining all these different techniques to in order to get these different flam rudiments. And also I started using what's called hybrid rudiments. Where are you going to find a drum set book with hybrid rudiments in it? Right? So, moving on, we have open hi-hats on the ands, open hi-hat threes, so some t-t-t-t-t-t. This chapter is really all about adding the texture on top. So you know how to create the groove characteristics underneath. Now, how do we add the texture on top of the cymbals? So we start talking about ostinatos. We start talking about the jazz ride pattern and jazz patterns. We start talking about odd time signatures. And then from there, that's pretty much where the chapter ends. I didn't want to get too advanced in this book because I have another book called Advancing Your Groove. And then so this last little section here is really just sort of some reference stuff. Obviously warm-ups aren't advanced concepts, but warm-ups are very important. Intro fills, I felt like, are very important. For a drummer to be good in his craft, he needs to understand some of the basic staples of the instrument, and intro fills is one of those things where you got to know some intro fills to have in your bag of tricks, right? And then your grooves and fills is just where I left it blank, where you can literally create your own grooves and fills. So I'm just going to pass through some of these pages so you can get a feel for all that different things I just talked about. Here's what your grooves and fills thing is. And so I've never seen a drum book do this before, where I give the student an outline where they can literally just fill in the bass and the snare, and then they can put more hi-hats in there if they want. And then here's a whole bar for a fill idea, right? So I've got 3 pages of that. So you could literally, as a teacher, go through each one of these chapters and utilize, maybe 3 of these per chapter or 4 of these per chapter, because I have, 3 pages of them. And then, of course, just the congratulations. And, of course, I give credit to, obviously, all the other drum books that a student needs. I obviously respect what's already been done, for sure. I have a bunch of them right over there. So, yeah, guys, if you're interested, I'll have a link in the description. And, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this book. I think it'll really help drummers and drum teachers alike. And if you're interested, just let me know. Or you can just go onto the link and get one yourself. Thanks for watching, guys.